Yo, what up? I'm not doing that. As someone who was kind of an awkward, nerdy guy in high school, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero. It's dictated by law. I enjoyed the first one on PS4 a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite games from that year. Miles Morales did a great job showcasing what the PS5 could do at launch, but it felt too similar to the first one. I was super worried I was getting sequelitis with this series. But hey, good news. Spider-Man 2. It's very good. So complaints first. The game is kind of buggy. It wasn't anything too bad. Just some scripted things wouldn't work as intended, which I do expect from open world games. Some scripted segments will play awkwardly if you moved in ways the game didn't want you to. I got soft locked in one place and I was convinced that my save file got bricked. But it turns out because I set finishers as a hotkey, whenever I tried to use D-pad left when interacting with things, it would do D-pad left, triangle, and circle all at the same time, causing Spider-Man's hand to awkwardly hover over what I was interacting with, and I'd lose all control. So just a heads up if you are using shortcuts, depending on what you have set up, it might mess with segments if you're using the D-pad to go left and right. Along with that, like some finisher animations would look kind of awkward if I did them like too close to a wall. You know, open world game things. They literally can't test every finisher by every wall. Sometimes I'd combo a guy into an area where the game forces you back into the arena, and it ended my combo because they were in a section I couldn't reach. It happened a lot during boss fights. There was one boss that was killing me when I still had health left. Like there was one time where I healed up to max health and it still faded out like I died. Dude, I was walking around during the fade out, which doesn't help my opinion on the bosses because they were kind of meh. I thought most of them were fine. That first Sandman fight though was actually pretty sick. I don't know if it's because I'm comparing them to Final Fantasy 16 bosses in the back of my mind, but none of them really gripped me. And my last complaint is one that I have with all of these games. The skill floor is way too low. For the longest time, I couldn't articulate why I didn't love the combat. It's good, but I just didn't love it. And I finally figured it out why with this game. I don't need to learn enemy attack patterns. All I need to react to is the red thing over my head. At least now they added unblockable and undodgeable attacks, which do a good job of mixing things up. I love their inclusions. Like you could theoretically play this game with a completely black screen and only react when the warnings pop up and you'll do perfectly fine. While the combat is fun and makes you feel really cool, it doesn't feel super rewarding to me. There were some fights I'd finish without getting hit and I wouldn't even realize it until I looked at the 92 hit combo I had going. But they did add a bunch of stuff to the combat that I really liked. Like the special moves, those were very fun. A lot of them had a really good weight to it and the gadgets were super fun to mix in with it. The gadgets in general I thought were a huge step up here. Overall, you have less than the first game, but I found them way more useful here. They really trimmed the fat with them and it shows. Same thing with a lot of the side content. They removed the bloat from them too. Some that would have pointless optional goals for no reason no longer have them, which will make getting the platinum trophy in this game way more bearable because a lot of the boring goals are gone. Because that's one part of the first game I absolutely hated, and it stopped me from plotting Miles Morales. Other gameplay improvements include great additions to movement. I loved the web wings so much, and the new parts of the city are really fun to fly around. The MJ missions, a part that I didn't hate as much as other people during the first game, in fact I didn't really mind them that much, are way better here because they gave her a gun. The story is great. Insomniac continues to make my favorite Spider-Man movies, excluding Into and Across the Spider-Verse. Honestly, so much of this game's story feels like them doing things that have been done dirty in other movies. Like a good relationship between Peter and MJ, with realistic drama happening between the two. Peter and Harry actually being friends. I don't think any movie has done the relationship between these three so well. The best on-screen version of Black Suit Spider-Man I've ever seen. The only good version of Venom I've seen. And you're even making good versions of stuff that will be done dirty in the future. Like Kraven. He was a super fun villain. And I think putting him in a story with a version of Black Suit Spider-Man was a brilliant move. Those arcs work together super well. Both Peter and Miles were fantastic. I absolutely loved seeing those two together in this game. They're both such enjoyable characters and both their VAs did a very good job. I just love this incarnation of all of these characters. I will be playing every Insomniac Spider-Man game. Like, yeah, the movies we have been getting are good, but the MCU is kind of on fire right now, and there's no way way we're getting Beyond the Spider-Verse anytime soon. I think Insomniac is going to be my go-to for Spider-Man stuff now, and I actually trust them to finish a product and make it good. Spider-Man 2 is clearly a studio learning from their previous work and improving their craft. Like, there are echoes of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart in here, and lessons that they learned from it. But with combat that I wish is a little different, I don't know, maybe hire more seasoned action combat enemy designers. Even if I didn't have my issues that I do with the combat, there's still one thing holding this game back. It came out in 2023. I think Tears of the Kingdom did the open world stuff better, and Final Fantasy 16 had way better scripted action segments. As I was playing it, those two games were in the back of my mind the whole time, and the parts of Spider-Man 2 that only it does. There are parts that the previous two Spider-Man games did just as well. So if you didn't like the last two Spider-Man games, you're not going to like this one because it's more of the same. Spider-Man 2 isn't changing anybody's mind on the series. But if you really enjoy this series, like myself, you're going to have a damn good time. It's just as solid as the last one, but again, it doesn't feel as fresh, so it's like an 8.5 out of 10. It's just great, but with nothing uniquely mind-blowing outside of those load times, dude. Holy shit. I don't know, now that, like, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm, like, kind of weird with this game, because I did really enjoy it, and I do plan on platinuming it, because I do think it's better than the first one, but I would give the first one a better score just because it was more fresh. I feel like they need a big change up for Spider-Man 3. Not that this stuff is getting old, I'm still really enjoying it. It's just not as new and impressive to me. I don't know, I had in my notes to give the game a 9, but when I initially read that line and said 9 out of 10 instead of 8.5 out of 10, it just didn't feel right. I think it's better than the first one, so I should give it a higher score than the first one, right? But it's not as special or fresh as the first one because it's so similar to it. Like, it's kind of just the first one, but better, but I don't know why I'm not as blown away by it. I think I'm just describing sequelitis right now. And this is why review scores are dumb. Dude, I've been going back and forth on this topic with myself for like the last 5-10 minutes. Just give it 10 years, these games are going to be one blob to me, and I'm not going to recommend you one of them. I'm just going to recommend you play all of them. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if it was very obvious that I could not reconcile how I feel about this game, despite the fact that I really enjoyed it. And subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys. Why does the color keep changing? The color changing throughout this entire video isn't my camera just messing up. It's actually a representation of my flip-flopping opinions of this game, even though both of those opinions are positive. Oh my god, dude, this is going to be such a nightmare to edit.